Well, if you were there on Saturday at the base of the Capitol steps, shoulder to shoulder under the shade of the Cecil Andrus Park, lined up down Capitol Boulevard, you may have wondered how many others were there with you to take part in the latest 50-51 protest in downtown Boise. It was a gathering reminiscent of the Women's March of 2017 or the George Floyd Vigil of 2020, and many others say it was a combination of both of those. Boise police, though, estimated attendance to be around 4,000 people. Organizers and those there say that miscalculation misses the mark by several thousand. Regardless, local organizers of the 50 protests, 50 states, one movement, say size does matter. But it's not the only thing that matters. What began as a nationwide anti-Trump rally shortly after he took office earlier this year has grown considerably in response to what the group calls anti-democratic and illegal actions of the president and his administration. Those who did show up to Saturday's No Kings protest were there for a litany of reasons, but they centered around President Trump spending $45 million on a military parade, all while making cuts to Medicaid, veterans benefits, or unconstitutional immigration policies, or considering the selling of public lands. So what do organizers think of the turnout? And is this movement getting any momentum? Joe Termes is a volunteer with 50-51, but the Caldwell High School graduates say it didn't start out as that volunteer.
No kings! No kings!
An overall frustration with the Trump administration, honestly, you know. Obviously, we have a lot of conservatism here in Idaho. I was conservative for a long time, maybe not so much anymore, but kind of really opened my eyes as to the level of structure and support that we actually all rely on, just seeing that being, you know, eroded away, you know, whether it's veterans benefits for family. You know, my son's on Medicaid. He has a lifelong disability. He will always be disabled, and seeing the risk of that going away, you know, having friends lose work from the Doge cuts. I mean, it was really upsetting. Yeah, and so, you know, I've been kind of frustrated for a long time anyway, and seeing that there was people also frustrated and wanting to do something about it was very motivating.
Okay, so you've been seeing that there are other people like you.
Yeah.
That number really swelled this last weekend. I mean, was this the biggest one?
By far. By far. It was, I think, 13,000, I think is what BPD said at the end.
What do you think about that number of people?
In a way, I'm not surprised, but it is very inspiring. As I have gotten more involved with the organization and I start talking with more friends and family, you know, kind of broaching those norms of leaving politics alone, I've noticed a very strong undercurrent of anxiety, but also a realization that, you know, it's time to start speaking up as people.
You can look at that and say, it's Boise. If you're going to get anybody to show up in an anti-Trump rally, you're going to get 10,000 in Boise.
We haven't gotten 10,000 before now, but even more than that, we may say 10,000 in Boise may be expected, but 1,000 in Caldwell, 500 in McCall, hundreds of people in small towns all over the state. Pocatello, Idaho Falls, Coeur d'Alene, you know. That to me says this is very much a populist movement.
Does it matter? Will it matter?
Absolutely does matter. The challenge is now we've got people excited, we got people showing up. We got to turn that energy into action. One of the best things I think we can do is run for office. How many seats in our state government or city governments run unopposed? If you care about your community, you got to get involved and run for the school board, run for the library district, run for city council, run for state government. Because one thing that we definitely notice as we talk to our congressmen is it does not feel like they're listening.
You know how much Trump won in Idaho, how much he won by in Idaho.
Sure.
And you know how many seats flipped in the Idaho State House to be more conservative.
Yeah.
So the trend kind of points a different direction.
So does that mean those that are unhappy with it should stay silent and not do anything?
Should our congressmen and the people inside the state capitol be paying attention to this?
Absolutely, 100%. I think if they don't, they are at risk of losing their base. We want them to take back control, the power of the purse. We want to make sure they're not selling our public lands. You know, these are things that are very popular in Idaho, regardless of your party affiliation. And if if our senators don't stand up to that, then, man, how out of touch are they?
67%, by the way, 67% of Idahoans voted for Trump in 2024. Boise police stands by their estimation of about 4,000 people at that protest, which was entirely peaceful and without incident. Joe points out 50-51 is nonpartisan, so there were all kinds there on Saturday and continue to be. It's not about flipping Idaho's conservative supermajority. These protests and this movement is about our elected leaders listening, he said, to the constituents and not just going along with executive actions. As for the next 50-51 protest, Joe tells us, well, they just kind of wait to get word from the national organization. So we'll see.